This was Ayn Rand's answer to a question following a speech on the Vietnam War. Why do so many Americans have a paranoiac fear of communism?
To begin with, I don't know that so many do. Second, I wouldn't call it a paranoiac fear. For instance, if you know that a country is a totalitarian dictatorship, which grants you no rights whatever, in which your life, work, future, everything is in the mercy of the government, which engages in wholesale slaughter of millions for political reasons without a trial, if one then is afraid of that sort of influence coming to this country, I wouldn't call it paranoiac fear. I would call it rational fear. However, I don't think that opposition to something does not necessarily imply fear. There is another mistake in your question, which is a question asked in the newspapers very often. Why do you suppose that if one opposes something which is evil, does that necessarily means one is afraid of that evil? Well, afraid in the sense that one disapproves, yes, colloquially you could say that, but not afraid in the sense of cowardice. If I oppose smallpox, for instance, would you say I'm afraid of it? Well, yes and no, I don't want to have it, but it isn't cowardice. And the same thing applies to those who oppose communism. It isn't fear of communism as such or of its power. It is moral indignation and opposition to the nature of communism and its evil. However, I'll grant you this, there are not many very intelligent anti-communists. Too many of today's anti-communists are non-intellectual, and they substitute slogans for serious discussion that may give you some impression as if they're merely afraid. But even there, as far as I know or observe, it isn't true. They're merely inarticulate and not very intellectual and therefore not very effective. But it isn't fear. It is indignation, sometimes helpless indignation, against an enormous evil.